Yes.
Hi. I just wanted to ask you, what do you think, how should the United States deal with the anti-American sentiment that is growing in South America, especially when they have presidents like Hugo Chavez Frias in Venezuela? I guess what I'm trying to say is, when I was a kid, we loved the United States. And now what I hear from my mom's like, you're not even allowed to have Christmas trees shown on TV because they represent the United States. So how do you think we should deal with that?
Well, I think that with regard to Hugo Chavez, that it's not necessary and it's probably counterproductive to confront him. I think it's possible for the United States to contain the kind of ill will that he's spreading in Latin America. But we won't do so unless we really listen and pay attention to Latin America. You know, I lived in Panama. I was the commander in the Southern Command. I traveled all over Latin America. And I was back in Panama a few weeks ago, and I met with the President Torrijos. And he warned me about what's happening in Latin America. He said, your country is, you're neglecting Latin America. You're not talking to people down there. You don't have a policy down there. He says, all this talk about a fence across the southwestern border is radicalizing Mexico, and you don't realize what's happening. He says, but Chavez he's sending 500 Panamanians a week to Cuba for eye operations. He's giving 1,000 Panamanians scholarships to study medicine in Cuba. He's putting all of his money there, and you're not looking into your own backyard. He said, you have many friends in Latin America, but you must tend to your friendships down there. The truth is that we're sort of, in Latin America, we're sort of out in front of our headlights. We don't have a policy anymore. The so-called Washington Consensus policy of the 1990s has broken down. You know, the Washington Consensus policy was just get rid of the military dictatorships, let democracy run, follow the prescriptions of the International Monetary Fund, tighten your belt, get rid of all these socialist policies, stop subsidizing food, stop subsidizing industry, let the free market take over, and everything will work. The problem is that doesn't always work quite the way there that we think it works here. So if we don't pay attention to the South, if we don't really put our heads together and come up with the right policies, you've got to protect the people in these countries. Every one of them is different. Ecuador is different from Peru, and Peru is different from Chile, and Bolivia is different from Peru, and every single country has its own set of problems and issues. And we have to have policies that account for the differences, that encourage them to take democratic development steps, and that build their relationship with America. This is our natural market area. 400+ million people in Latin America. There are neighbors in this hemisphere. We have to work with them. But the way to do it is not to confront Chavez. It's to contain him. Chavez's policies will be proved for the failure that they are, because you can't run a government by military dictatorship, even if you're a left-wing military dictator like Chavez. You'll bring it to ruin. He will. But in the process, if we try to do the confrontation and get all hot and bothered about this, we're going to make things worse throughout Latin America. So let's work to contain him. We should be giving scholarships to people in Panama and elsewhere to study medicine in the United States. We should be helping people get access to medical care in the United States. Why should Chavez do that? Why can't we do that? Why can't we reach out beyond our borders and help more people in more direct ways? I think we can. I think we do. And I think we have to put it together in a way that people in Latin America see it and understand it. That's the answer.